Okay, so that's okay. Thank you. Okay, disclaimer. I'm very bad at this as well. Before I start anything, can I ask you guys to go back to your nursery time, and if you guys, anyone of you don't know the song, row your boat? Who don't know? Who don't know? Anyone? Anybody? You don't know the song? Okay, it's okay. I guess the crowd is huge enough to support you. So can you guys sing that for me, the first verse? Row, row your boat that gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Can you do it faster? Row, row, row your boat that gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, tonight I would like to share with you about a story of rowing against the current. See, we row the boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. But life is not always a dream, and life and the current, the water current in our boat meaning our life, doesn't always go according to the direction that we are rowing. So I'm not going to blabber to you about my full story. I'm not going to do that to you. But I'm just going to share part of the story to you, okay? I only have 15 minutes, by the way. So this was me in Bronx River. So I was in New York City the other day, and I volunteered in a social enterprise called Rocking the Boat, in which they do a youth outreach program, mainly the Hispanics and also the blacks in around Bronx area in New York. So they teach leadership and teach teamwork through building their own boat. So this particular boat that we were rowing on was built by a group of 16-year-olds. So we rowed down Bronx River, and at the other side of the riverbank is a fantastic view of false foliage. I went during autumn. Yeah, false foliage. So you can see red maple tree at the other end. And we were really excited. But the price to pay is we have to row against the current. So this is my best friend from Vietnam, Indonesia, and that's my lecturer, Mr. David. So both of us have to row very hard. The guys, we have to row very, very, very hard because the girls, okay, I'm not a sexist, but yeah. So we have to row really, really, really hard in order for us to counter the current. So we row really hard, and the girls were very guilty. They say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't row that hard enough," you know. And we get to see the view as well. So this particular exercise actually helped me to reflect a lot in what all of us are doing. Just now Heidi asked who wants to see change in our country, and all of us has that desire and has that yearning in seeing changes in our country. So I was in Washington D.C. the other day, and I quoted this. This is at Martin Luther King's memorial. So I have the audacity to believe that people everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirit. We can see there are a lot of negative currents are going against us right now. We can see that a lot of things we are rowing against the current. So rowing, like when in nursery time, we were indoctrinated by, we row your boat gently down the stream, and happily, and then life will become a dream. But life doesn't work out this way. Personally, my life as well. When I was 16, a lot of my friends were saying that, hey, you're a brilliant kid, why don't you go study overseas or something? I said, I love my country. I love to stay in my country. I know that there are a lot of injustice. I know that there are a lot of unfair treatment, but I still love my country. And I have this inner frustration that I wish to see change in the world. But I translate that particular frustration into something constructive rather than destructive. Like what Heidi said, that passion sometimes is the anger that's in you, that you want to see change. So I took a really bold step. I applied for the National Unity Youth Fellowship Program because I was pretty concerned about what is happening to our country. Where is our country going? There's racial tension over there. There's socioeconomic inequalities over there. Where's our country going? So, by the way, I'm 20, turning on 21 this year. So I took a very bold step in applying this program. I was the youngest fellow among this group, in which we traveled around the country and researched about national unity from three perspectives: laws and institution, race and religion, and of course, socioeconomic issues. So we traveled to Sabah, Sarawak, Perak, no, not Perak, Perlis, Kedah, Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, and Kelantan and Terengganu as well, to see what is our public policy and what are the influence of our public policy on a grassroots level and how it affects national unity as a whole. So to engage young leaders in Malaysia into a discourse for national unity is a rare thing. I would say a rare thing, a very rare thing. So I received threats after this event. So Teguh Razali Hamzah was the keynote speaker, and I was conducting a workshop on socioeconomic inequality, in which this workshop session I engaged young leaders in discussing about socioeconomic inequalities. What happened after that? So happened that this conference was on September 16 last year, and you know what happened on September 16 last year. So myself and Ideas, we launched a declaration, but after that I received threats saying that I'm a Jewish agent, saying that a lot of slurs. As a 20-year-old, it was pretty hard to take in at first, and received a lot of threats, things like that, but this is the price to pay for change. Freedom is not free. It's not free. There's always a price to pay. And you can see this negative current that is flowing, and the harder that I roll, and it really depends on how hard I can roll to counter against that current. So after that, after going through the country and looking into a really big picture, the micro issues on a grassroots level, which need to be resolved, contributes to the macro picture that we are talking about, the big thing, the big statistics that we're talking about. And that's why I joined social education. So social education is a social enterprise that champions on the development of human capital. So we go to schools, we do career and academic development programs for underprivileged youth age 15 to 17, because that is the age that they are determining their pathway and where do they go after that, where do they go after the secondary school. We can see that a lot of graduates and a lot of school students are very going into life aimlessly. They do not know what to do, and following their peers, because the current is easy. You just follow the current and then you just go. You do not have to counter the current. So everything, I follow my friend because my friend's doing that, so I follow. Because my friend is doing that as well, so I just follow. Basically, what the Malay call it, lalang. The wind blows there, you go there. The wind blows there, you go there. So we visited some schools. So this is one of the schools in Kedah. This is one of our schools in KL. So after that, I was selected by the US Embassy. I was again the youngest fellow in the academic fellowship program for social entrepreneurship and economic development. So I was one of the two Malaysians. This was us in Boston. So in Boston, basically I was attached in the University of Connecticut, where I was attached there for 4 weeks, and I went to Boston, New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. as well. So throughout that leadership program, it was very intense, and we learned a lot about the economic development in America and the economic development here in ASEAN. So over there, yes, we looked into a lot of big picture. We discussed about President Obama's policy. We discussed about some of the policies and some of the debates that was brought up by the Democrats and brought up by the Republicans, and to see which side is more liberal. But at the end of the day, whether will it translate and whether will it have positive effect on a grassroots level. So it was a really eye-opening trip to the US. So we volunteered in a community garden in Hartford, Connecticut. So in which they engaged the poor in that area, again, mostly the Hispanics and also the blacks in that area, to grow their own food, so that and to train them into our restaurant business. So we learn a lot of models, and we see a lot of social entrepreneurs who are doing great things in America as well. Because we always think that America is great and everything is huge. So, and we also volunteer in DC Central Kitchen, a soup kitchen where President Obama himself volunteered as well. And I was given the opportunity to deliver a speech in Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. on the role of youth in ASEAN and also my YCL experience. So, and very recently it was selected by the Queen. So this is 9 of us from Asia. So the one in the middle, you guys heard of Youth Opportunities? Yeah. Youth Opportunities. So that's the founder of Youth Opportunities, Osama bin Noor. He's from Bangladesh and meeting a lot of inspiring people from Commonwealth and also from ASEAN. We can always see that there is always people who are trying to go against the flow. We can see that people in our country who are either being locked up, who are either being beaten up, who are either being prosecuted because they are not following the current. Because there's always a bigger force that is dictating the direction of the current. Going against the current is very hard. I have to tell you that. And to be 20-year-old and to went through all these, it's not an easy journey, I have to say. But then, there's 2 things I would like you guys to take away today. The first thing is that going against the current is very difficult. It's very time-consuming. Sometimes we might not even see the change in our lifetime. But then, without that starting point, there will not be any changes. Without that starting point, there will be no revolution. Revolution doesn't come in a day. It comes through generations. When I was in Dr. Martin Luther King's memorial, it was a very emotional trip for me. For a lot of others, it's a normal visit to Washington, D.C., going to the monuments, and it's fun. But the quotes over there tells his story, tells his struggle of how he yearns to see changes and how he started a revolution in America. Without us change agents, be it in a small way, be it in a very big way, there will not be changes. We can contribute. Usually when I see a lot of my friends who wish to participate, who wish to be part of the change, they say that, how can me being part of it create a big impact like Martin Luther King or great social entrepreneurs? But if you weren't part of the change, the big guys are not able to do anything because there is nobody living and believing in their legacy and believing in their vision. The second thing, it is never too old and it is never too young to row against the current. So, if you guys read some of the news that I was interviewed by, my mantra is age is just a number. That number on your IC, right? That number of IC, it only tells you how many birthday candles you need to put on your birthday cake, but it doesn't tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. Yeah. Trust me that. Only tells you how many candles are 2 candles, 2 big candles, 2 big candles for me and 1 small candle for me. 2 big candles and 1 small one, 21. So that's all. For me, that's the function of that 2 digit in front of your IC. Apart from that, do not let your age define your ability. Do not let your age define what you can do. All of us sitting in this chair, coming tonight, you guys took an initiative to come here to be inspired and to take action. For me, my personal belief is that I don't believe in inspiration alone. You can get a lot of inspiration tonight, but then you go home and sleep, nothing happened. I implore you guys to take the second step, in which you take an action. Be it in the smallest way possible, you take an action. Attending an event, countering the crazy traffic that KL has, to come to this event tonight is a big achievement already. Because you guys are the go-getters. I've seen people who say, I want change, I want success, I want this, I want that. But they're sitting on the couch watching Grey's Anatomy. And watching Grey's Anatomy won't make you a doctor, lah, please, lah. You're going to go and study a degree in medicine and to be a doctor. So, these are some of the things that I've witnessed. If you want to be successful, if you want to go against the current, rowing against the current, sometimes the current will take you away. And if you're not strong enough to counter against the current, one, you'll be drifted, you'll be taken away by the current. Two, you will crash by the riverbank and die. Because there is always somebody that is bigger than us, yes. But with small little group of us, minority of us, come together collectively as one and counter against the current, trust me, the result is going to be fantastic. There will be a lot of challenges along the way. However, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at time of challenge and controversy. After receiving the threat, after I organized the conference, this thing lifted me up. It gives me a hope that Malaysia still has somewhere to go. In light of all this negativity that we see, if all of us come together as one Malaysia, there will be changes. Okay, no puns intended, but there will be changes. It will, as I mentioned, it will not happen within our lifetime, but without a starting point, without the spark, that fire is not going to burn. Okay, I hope you guys take away that two things. Thank you very much.